The Bears and the Detroit Lions meet up in Week 6 in the NFL. This is one of the more interesting handicapping situations, in my opinion, and we will see what Joe Duffy from OffshoreInsiders.com has to say about it. I'm Peter Loshak. You're watching SBR Videos. Joe Duffy, Detroit's a 3-point home favorite. The total is 42.5 or 43. Interestingly, though, the Greek appears to have a lean to the over. They're still hanging 43.5. This is a tough one because Chicago, I kind of like their program in general. I'm a believer in John Fox and how he can get a team to improve as the season goes on, but they are having some major issues with injuries, right? So they might not just really have the personnel to be the kind of team that you want to be betting on right now. And then Detroit also, they played a good game against Seattle. They got blown out last week, so they're in a bounce back spot. The question is, do they have the personnel to really be reliable to bet on as a team that's going to bounce back, especially as a favorite here? My initial lean on this game was to the under. I think I bet it at 44 on the opener, and it has gone down since then, but it does concern me a little bit that Greek is still hanging 43.5 and appears to have, as I said, a lean to the over. What's your take on this game, Joe?
Well, Peter, this would certainly be as big of a predictably unpredictable game as we'll see this year. I like to, for those of you who are watching these videos for the first time who have never actually gotten my plays, well, first of all, shame on you on both, but you'll be with us for many years. Predictably unpredictable, there are certain quarterbacks out there who, Matt Stafford and Jay Cutler, possibly at the top of the list, at least of current players who one week they look tremendous, the next week they look terrible. They have enormous talent, but their production never matches their talent. And what I generally like to do with those guys when things are going well, and if they're laying points, especially fade them, things are going poorly, and if they're getting points, go with them. Now, here in the case of if you got a 3-point home favorite, the odds makers are basically saying these two teams are even. But Matt Stafford, winless this year. Jay Cutler has actually played pretty well the past 2 weeks, 2 wins. So predictably unpredictable says go with Detroit. And in fact, those people who are terrified, they're like, wait a minute, I can't go with a winless team like that. Well, winless teams with at least 4 losses are very solid. 147 and 104 against the spread. Percentage actually goes higher when they have at least 5 losses, 59.1% at 97 and 67. I'm obviously excluding pushes. And, I say that sometimes, it's good to pick bad, and sometimes you got to go with those ugly teams. This is maybe an ugly game if you're just watching it from a fantasy standpoint or just an NFL fan, but I think it is actually pretty good from a betting standpoint.
Well, that's definitely an interesting stat, Joe Duffy. So you chose it to pass on Arizona at Pittsburgh. On this one, like I said, I bet the under on the opener. I'm not so sure how I'm feeling about it now. For the purposes of our videos here, Joe, do you want to give a pick on Detroit -3 or play on the total, or do you want to pass again?
Giving my predictably unpredictable angle, I am going to go with Detroit.
All right, Detroit currently -3. Joe Duffy, tell us about OffshoreInsiders.com.
Yeah, we got all kinds of. In fact, the only thing that there's really changed over the past couple years in the offseason, I went up acquiring via some trade and buying some great systems. So our computer systems are better than ever, but that's still used just to collaborate our good old-fashioned handicapping techniques. Joe Duffy's picks at OffshoreInsiders.com. One of our better years, 28 years in the business, and this is one of our top probably 6 or 7 starts ever. So jump on board now, OffshoreInsiders.com.
All right, thanks, Joe.